Welcome back to my channel, Valuable Rare Coins. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we'll uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. If you've got a 2012 United States 1-cent coin, you might be holding onto something worth far more than just a penny. While most of us are used to seeing pennies in our pockets, some of these coins, especially from specific years, can be worth a lot more than you think. In this video, we'll explore the 2012 1-cent coin, its significance, and why it's caught the attention of collectors, all while discussing how much it could be worth today. First off, let's talk about the 2012 1-cent coin's design. The front side, or obverse, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. It's a design that has become synonymous with the United States, symbolizing leadership, freedom, and the nation's founding ideals. On the reverse side, you'll find the Union Shield, a modern representation of America's unity, introduced in 2010. This design symbolizes the protection and strength of the nation, with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies and a banner at the top inscribed with the word E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. At first glance, this coin looks like any other penny you might find circulating in your change, but the real value lies in the rarity and condition of specific 2012 pennies. The United States Mint produced billions of pennies in 2012, so there are plenty out there in circulation, but some of these coins, in certain conditions or with specific features, are highly sought after by collectors. One of the primary reasons the 2012 penny has gained attention in the coin collecting community is due to the possibility of finding coins in pristine condition. While most of these coins have been through the rigors of circulation and have seen their fair share of wear and tear, there are a select few that have been carefully preserved. If you happen to find a 2012 penny that's in mint or uncirculated condition, especially one that has been kept in a safe or storage container, it could be worth significantly more than the typical 1-cent it represents. Additionally, there are some special features of the 2012 penny that might make it stand out. Over the years, subtle changes in the minting process can result in mint errors or die variations, and these are what collectors absolutely love. Examples of errors on a coin can range from double strikes, misalignments, and blank areas in the design, to more unique anomalies like die cracks. Such errors, while rare, can increase a coin's value dramatically, sometimes turning a seemingly ordinary penny into a collector's dream. For instance, some 2012 pennies may have been struck with an incorrect design, or there may be instances where the reverse side didn't fully imprint on the coin. These types of mistakes create unique coins that are not only fascinating to look at, but can also fetch high prices in the marketplace. If you've come across a 2012 penny with an error, it's worth doing a little research or getting it evaluated by a professional to see if it has special value. Another key aspect that can influence the 2012 penny's value is its rarity. As previously mentioned, billions of these coins were produced, but certain varieties are far rarer than others. Pennies minted in certain locations or under specific conditions can be harder to find. The more difficult it is to find a particular coin, the higher its potential value. For example, a 2012 penny that was minted at a specific location, such as the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint, may be more rare than others and could be more valuable to collectors who specialize in these types of coins. Now, let's get to the big question. How much can a 2012 1-cent coin be worth? While the vast majority of these pennies are only worth their face value, it's possible to find a 2012 penny that could be worth much more. If you happen to own an uncirculated 2012 penny or one that has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a coin worth a substantial amount of money. Some of these coins can be valued as high as $27,000. Yes, you heard that right, $27,000 for a single 2012 penny. So, if you've got a 2012 penny lying around in your collection, or if you find one in your change, make sure to take a closer look at its condition. If it's in excellent shape or has an unusual error, you could be holding onto a hidden treasure that's worth far more than its face value. Even if you don't find a rare error coin, a pristine 2012 penny can still fetch a decent amount of money. In conclusion, while the 2012 1-cent coin might look like an everyday penny, its value is far from ordinary. With careful preservation, or perhaps a lucky error, it could end up being worth much more than anyone might expect. So, always keep an eye out for that next penny you come across. It could be the start of your very own coin collection success story. Second rare coin, we're talking about the 1970 United States 1-cent coin. While the penny is often seen as just a low-value coin, this particular one from 1970 is anything but ordinary. In fact, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Stick with us until the end of the video to find out just how much this small, humble coin can be worth today. Let's start with a bit of background about this coin. The 1970 penny was minted at the Denver Mint, and it was produced during an interesting time in American history. The late 1960s and early 1970s were marked by significant economic changes, and the United States was transitioning through various challenges, including inflation and political upheaval. But despite these big events, this penny from 1970 still managed to slip through the cracks of history as a hidden gem, waiting to be discovered by keen-eyed collectors. What makes the 1970 penny so special? Well, unlike most pennies that were minted around the same time, this particular year has become noteworthy due to the possibility of finding rare varieties and misprints. Most coins from the 1970s were struck in large quantities, but it's the 1970 penny that has some intriguing qualities that attract collectors from all around the world. One of the main factors that make the 1970 penny valuable is the possibility of a double die obverse error. Now, what exactly is a double die error? Simply put, it happens when the coin die, which is used to imprint the design onto the coin, strikes the blank planchet more than once. As a result, the design on the coin becomes doubled or misaligned, leading to noticeable distortions. These types of errors are quite rare, and they are highly sought after by collectors. The 1970 penny is one of the most famous coins for these types of errors, making it a favorite among coin hunters. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1970 penny with a double die obverse, then you might just have a coin worth thousands of dollars. You can spot these errors by looking closely at the lettering and date on the coin, as the doubling is typically visible in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as the date itself. It's important to remember, though, that these errors don't happen often, and finding a double die penny in mint condition is something that only the most dedicated collectors and enthusiasts get to experience. Now, aside from the error coins, the 1970 penny is still valuable because of its rarity in uncirculated condition. As you might know, coins that were circulated heavily during the year of their release usually show wear and tear over time. But if you happen to have a 1970 penny that has been well-preserved and kept in pristine condition, you might be looking at a coin worth more than its face value. The grade of the coin, meaning how well it has been preserved, plays a huge role in its market value. Coins that are graded higher, such as those in mint state or uncirculated condition, can command much higher prices than those with visible damage or wear, in addition to the possibility of minting errors or excellent preservation. Another factor that can drive up the value of the 1970 penny is its low mintage. While billions of pennies are produced each year, not all of them are equally available on the market today. Over time, some coins become harder to find because they were either lost, melted down, or simply disappeared into private collections. This limited availability can make certain coins more desirable, especially if they come from a particular year, mint, or have unique characteristics. The 1970 penny is one such example, and its limited supply has made it a highly sought-after item in the numismatic world. So, how much can the 1970 penny actually be worth? Well, as with most rare coins, the value can vary depending on its condition, rarity, and any minting errors it might have. Most 1970 pennies in average circulated condition are worth only slightly more than face value, but the real magic happens when you find one that's in excellent condition, or better yet, one with a rare double die error. In these cases, collectors have been known to pay large sums for these special coins. In fact, if you're lucky enough to possess a perfect example of a double die 1970 D penny or one in uncirculated condition, you could potentially sell it for a whopping $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. $80,000 for a single penny. It just goes to show how valuable these coins can be when you stumble upon a rare find. Now, if you're out there searching through your change or sorting through your coin collection, keep a close eye on any 1970 D pennies you come across. You never know, you might have one of these hidden treasures in your hands, ready to fetch you a small fortune. Just remember, it's all about condition and rarity. A little careful inspection can go a long way in determining if you've got something worth a lot more than a penny. To wrap things up, the 1970 D United States 1-cent coin is a great example of how a simple penny can become a valuable piece of history when the right circumstances align. Whether it's due to minting errors, low mintage, or simply excellent preservation, the 1970 D penny has earned its place as a desirable coin among collectors. So keep an eye on your pennies, because your next big find might just be one of these rare and valuable coins. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the 1974 United States 1-cent coin. While pennies are often dismissed as low-value coins, this particular penny from 1974 might just surprise you. Stick around as we explore why this coin is more valuable than most people realize and how much it could be worth in today's market. To begin with, the 1974 penny was minted during an interesting time in the United States. The country was experiencing economic challenges, with inflation rising, the end of the Vietnam War, and the country moving through a period of significant political changes. The penny itself, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, was part of a larger effort to keep up with the nation's growing economy during the 1970s. However, even though millions of these pennies were produced, it's the 1974 penny that's caught the eye of collectors due to its rarity and potential for error coins. The first thing that makes the 1974 penny particularly intriguing to collectors is the possibility of minting errors. The 1974 penny is known for a specific variety of errors that make it stand out from the typical, run-of-the-mill coins produced that year. One of the most desirable errors is the double die obverse variety, which occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on the coin's design. This doubling can often be seen on the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust," making these errors easy to spot. If you're lucky enough to find a double die obverse 1974 penny, you could be holding onto a rare treasure. The error isn't something that happens frequently, so collectors are always on the lookout for coins that exhibit this unique characteristic. The double design gives the penny a distinctive look, and collectors will pay top dollar for this kind of variety. Coins like these often fetch much higher prices than their counterparts, especially when found in excellent condition. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the value of a coin can be drastically affected by its condition. A 1974 penny in poor condition may only be worth a few cents, but if you happen to have one in uncirculated or mint condition, it could be worth significantly more. A penny that's been well preserved, without any scratches or heavy signs of wear, will be much more desirable to collectors. Coins that are graded as mint state or uncirculated are the ones that can demand the highest prices. It's also worth noting that coins with very low mintage, or those that were not heavily circulated, tend to be worth more. While the 1974 penny was produced in large numbers, a significant portion of these coins were used in everyday transactions and eventually got lost or damaged. Over the years, this makes finding a 1974 penny in excellent condition much rarer than you might think. So, the next time you're rummaging through your coin collection or sorting through some spare change, remember that there could be a 1974 penny in mint condition just waiting to be discovered. But that's not all besides the double die error. There are also varieties in the design that make the 1974 penny particularly interesting to collectors. For example, there's a 1974 D penny with an interesting feature. it has a noticeable weak mint mark, which makes it stand out. While this might not be as valuable as the double-die error coins, it still adds an element of uniqueness to the coin. Collectors are always looking for unique variants, so even the subtle differences between the 1974 D penny and other versions can impact its value. Now, you might be wondering how much a 1974 penny could actually be worth. Well, let's get to the exciting part. If you happen to have a 1974 penny in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a double-die obverse error, you could be looking at a serious payday. Depending on the grade, condition, and specific features of the coin, a well-preserved 1974 penny could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $1,000s. However, if you've got a double-die obverse error in mint state, you could potentially be sitting on a coin worth $64,000. Yes, that's right, $64,000 for a single penny. It might sound unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting, rare errors like the 1974 double-die penny can be incredibly valuable. Even if you don't have an error coin, the condition of the coin can still make it worth a substantial amount of money. So, the next time you're searching through your spare change, remember that a simple 1974 penny might just be a hidden gem worth a small fortune. To summarize, the 1974 United States 1-cent coin might seem like just another ordinary penny, but when you start looking closer, you realize it has the potential to be worth far more than face value. Whether it's due to a double-die error, low mintage, or excellent preservation, this coin has earned its place in the hearts of collectors. So, if you come across one, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It could be worth $64,000 or even more. Especially, we're diving into the world of the 1981 D United States 1-cent coin. While most people pass by pennies without a second thought, this particular one from 1981 holds some secrets that could make it worth far more than its face value. Stay with us as we reveal why this coin is much more than just a regular penny. First off, let's talk about the 1981 D penny in the context of its history. The United States was going through a time of economic change in the early 1980s. Inflation was a significant issue, and the country was dealing with rising costs in almost every sector. It was during this time that the 1981 D penny was minted, which was part of a series of coins produced under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan's administration. At that time, the economy was in recovery from the oil crises of the 1970s, and the nation was beginning to adjust to the new economic challenges that the 1980s would bring. While this coin may seem like an ordinary penny at first glance, there are a few key factors that make it more desirable to collectors. The first is the mint mark D, which signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint is known for producing high-quality coins, and collectors often seek out specific coins from this facility, especially if they were produced in years where there were lower mintages or unique characteristics. Now, let's talk about why the 1981 D penny is a coin that you should take a closer look at. The primary reason this penny is sought after is because of its rarity. While the 1981 D penny was minted in large quantities, over 6 billion of them, what makes this coin unique is that many of them were heavily circulated and have become worn out over time. As a result, finding a 1981 D penny in mint condition is quite rare. Coins that are in excellent condition with sharp features and little to no wear can command a much higher price than those that have been circulating for decades. The value of a 1981 D penny really comes down to its condition. Coins that have been well preserved and are free from significant scratches or damage are much more desirable to collectors. The 1981 D penny is often seen with heavy signs of wear, including faded details and discoloration, because it has been in circulation for a long time. So, if you find one that looks nearly brand new, you may have just stumbled upon a treasure. Another factor that makes the 1981 D penny valuable is the potential for minting errors. Coins that were produced with flaws during the minting process are often highly sought after by collectors. These errors can range from things like off-center strikes to doubled die impressions. If you happen to find a 1981 D penny with one of these errors, it could be worth significantly more than a regular penny. Collectors are always on the lookout for unique and rare error coins, and a minting flaw can add substantial value to a piece of currency. So, what's the real value of the 1981 D penny? Well, in its normal condition, a 1981 D penny may only be worth a few cents, just its face value, or a bit more if it's in decent condition. However, if you're lucky enough to find a 1981 D penny in mint condition or with an error, the value can rise dramatically. For example, a 1981 D penny in pristine, uncirculated condition could fetch a few $100s, and if you have one with a minting error, that value could rise even higher. Here's the exciting part. The 1981 D penny can be worth up to $55,000 if it's in the right condition or if it features a rare error. Yes, that's right, $55,000 for a single penny. This may sound incredible, but in the world of coin collecting, it's not all that surprising. When you factor in the rarity of high-quality coins, especially those from specific years or with particular minting errors, it's clear why collectors are willing to pay such a high price for a 1981 D penny in top condition. Now that you know how valuable this seemingly simple penny can be, it's time to take a closer look at any 1981 D pennies you might have in your collection or floating around in your spare change jar. If it's been sitting untouched, it could be your lucky day. Whether it's in perfect condition or contains a rare minting flaw, this coin has the potential to be worth a lot more than what you'd expect from a penny. To recap, the 1981 D penny is not just any old coin. It's a piece of history from a unique time in the United States, and it's one that collectors highly covet due to its potential rarity and value. Whether you're looking for a pristine example or one with a minting error, this penny could be worth a small fortune. So, if you have a 1981 D penny sitting in your collection, don't overlook it, take a closer look. It could be worth up to $55,000, which is an incredible amount for a simple coin. Next coin, we're diving into something really exciting, the 1993 United States 1-cent coin. It may look like an ordinary penny, but trust me, this little piece of history could be worth far more than you think. Stick with us as we reveal why this 1993 penny is a serious collector's item and how you could potentially turn it into a significant sum of money. At first glance, the 1993 1-cent coin might not seem too special. After all, it's just one of the many pennies minted each year by the United States Mint. However, when you look deeper, you'll see that this particular penny holds its own unique place in the world of numismatics. The penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, and on the reverse side, we see the classic wheat ears design, which has become synonymous with the Lincoln cent series. The 1993 penny falls under the category of coins produced during an interesting period in American history. It was minted during the tail end of the 20th century, a time when the U.S. was experiencing significant economic and technological changes. The country was in the middle of a prosperous decade, with the economy continuing to grow and evolve, especially under the leadership of President Bill Clinton. The 1993 penny was produced by the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark on coins struck at that facility. So, what makes the 1993 1-cent coin stand out in the world of coin collecting? It all comes down to condition and rarity. Most coins minted in 1993 saw heavy circulation, meaning they were used extensively in daily transactions. As a result, finding a 1993 penny that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rare and exciting find. When a coin is in perfect condition, its value can skyrocket compared to a worn, circulated counterpart. Many 1993 pennies have seen years of use and show heavy wear, which means they're worth only a fraction of their original value. But if you're lucky enough to have a 1993 1-cent coin that has remained in uncirculated condition, you could be sitting on a small treasure. Coins in mint state condition are highly sought after by collectors because they're harder to find. The more preserved a coin is, the more it commands in value, and there's more to it than just perfect condition. The 1993 penny also has a number of rarities that make it appealing to collectors. Some coins from this year may have striking errors, small but significant flaws that occurred during the minting process. These errors can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, or clashed dies. These types of minting errors make certain pennies from this year especially valuable, as they're unique and much more difficult to find. Collectors will pay top dollar for these error coins, as they represent a one-of-a-kind piece of history. When it comes to determining the value of the 1993 1-cent coin, we have to look at the overall condition and rarity of the coin. In the most common scenarios, a circulated 1993 penny is worth only its face value, 1 cent. However, when you find a mint condition coin, the price can be much higher. In fact, collectors have been known to pay thousands of dollars for uncirculated versions of this coin, especially those with rare minting errors. Now, let's get to the real exciting part, the value of the 1993 penny. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1993 penny or one that features a minting error, you could be looking at a significant return on your investment. The 1993 1-cent coin could be worth $45,000 depending on its condition and any unique features it might possess. That's right, $45,000 for a single penny. A coin that you might have overlooked in your collection could turn out to be a true gem, and finding one in excellent condition could be life-changing. So, make sure to check through your coin collection or the pennies lying around in your wallet and spare change. You might have a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered, whether you've been collecting coins for years or you've just started. The world of numismatics is filled with exciting possibilities. The 1993 penny is just one example of how the value of coins can skyrocket depending on their condition, rarity, and unique features. If you've got one of these rare pennies, don't let it slip through your fingers. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or get it appraised to find out just how much it could be worth. Last unique coin, we've got something truly special for you, the 1966 United States 1-cent coin. You might think it's just another penny, but wait until you hear how this little coin could actually be worth a small fortune. The 1966 1-cent coin is often overlooked, as most people think of pennies as just pennies, right? They're common, easy to find, and not something you'd typically expect to make you any significant money. But here's the thing, not all pennies are created equal. And the 1966 penny is one that holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. This penny is from a unique time in U.S. history. In 1966, the country was in the midst of a transformative decade. The U.S. was navigating the social changes of the 1960s, and the economy was booming, but there were also signs of change ahead. While the 1966 1-cent coin may seem ordinary at first glance, its value today has skyrocketed due to several important factors. First, let's talk about its design. The 1966 penny features the iconic Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, created by the famous artist Victor David Brenner. The reverse side, on the other hand, still features the classic wheat stock design, which was used on the penny from 1909 to 1958. After 1958, the Lincoln Memorial was introduced on the reverse side, but in 1966, the wheat penny design was still being used, making this coin a piece of history. So, what makes the 1966 penny stand out from other coins in its series? It has a lot to do with its rarity and the condition of the coins. The 1966 penny was produced in relatively large quantities. Just over 1.5 billion coins were minted that year. But despite this, most of the pennies saw heavy circulation, leading to significant wear and tear. Coins that have been used in day-to-day transactions for decades can lose their luster and details, making them far less valuable. But, and here's the exciting part, uncirculated coins are much rarer. 1966 pennies that have been carefully stored and preserved, free from damage or heavy circulation, are highly sought after by collectors. These coins are in mint condition, meaning they look as good as the day they were struck. If you happen to have a pristine 1966 penny lying around in your collection, you could be holding on to something worth a lot more than just a few cents. Now, let's dive deeper into why the 1966 penny is such a valuable find. Some of these coins even have minting errors that can make them worth significantly more. These errors are the result of mistakes during the minting process, like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die clashes. A coin that was struck incorrectly during its production becomes an instant collectible. Error coins are rare and highly prized by collectors because they're one-of-a-kind pieces of history. If you happen to find a 1966 penny with a noticeable error, the value could increase dramatically. For example, a double die coin, where the design appears to be stamped twice, making it look blurry or doubled, can command a premium price in the market. These types of errors are much harder to find, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. In general, coins from the 1960s are highly collectible because they represent a unique time in U.S. coinage. After 1964, the U.S. stopped using silver in most of its coins, including the penny. The 1966 penny is made of copper, which gives it a distinct, rich color. So, any coin from this period, especially in exceptional condition, is going to catch the eye of any serious collector. But here's the kicker: if you happen to have a 1966 1-cent coin in mint state condition, or one that features a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The value of these pennies, especially the rare ones, can be astronomical. In fact, a 1966 penny in perfect condition, or with a striking error, can fetch $180,000. That's right, $180,000 for a single penny. Who would have thought that something so small could carry such immense value? If you've been casually collecting pennies or inherited a collection from a relative, it's definitely worth your time to dig through your coins and see if you have one of these hidden treasures. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1966 penny in great condition or with a rare error? The best course of action is to have it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic organization like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Getting your coin graded by professionals can authenticate its value and ensure that you're selling or buying it at the right price. And don't forget that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Sometimes, a coin that seems insignificant can turn out to be worth a lot more than expected. So, always be on the lookout for potential treasures in your coin jar or old collections. The 1966 penny is just one example of how small changes in history can create big opportunities for collectors. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1966 United States 1-cent coin, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Who knows what we'll uncover next? Happy collecting, and we'll see you in the next video.